Morning to all of you, all participants for Atal FDP on robotics and automation. It is held by AICT Atal Academy. We got grant support from AICT, and hosting institute is Government Engineering College Modasa, Mechanical Engineering Department. So on this occasion, we are not going for any type of formal inauguration sessions. We'll just start our sessions. Then after intermediate point, we'll join the AICT Atal Inauguration Program, which is held for the common for all 25 Atal FDP. Now, here in this training program, we got a good response all over India. 171 participant has shown their interest in this training program. So we'll hope for the active participant from the all participants, right? And this training program is focused on the robotics on automations field, as all of we are aware that in COVID-19 situations, it is very difficult to do the manual works at some occasions, either from some special task or something like where we don't eliminate the work. So at that time, we have to go for the automation only. That is only one option. In some cases, in some hospital also, we all have seen that robots are used to serve the medicines as well as to serve the lunch or dinner. So people have used this technology in this era in a very fast manner. And it is a growing technology. And if we'll compare with other part of the world compared to the India, you will find a lot of people are using the lot of robots and the automations, right? So now in this one, first topic is about today's session is about the introductory about the robotics. It is presented by me. I'm associate professor in mechanical engineering department as well as coordinator for this at FDP, right? So as we all know that nowadays robots will helpful to do the lot of things in our day-to-day life also. Now we'll go for the little introductory task that a lot of participants are from the different groups and they may not be aware about the basic terminology of robots and its history. So in this first session, we'll go through these all things. Now, the first thing that is a word robot was come in the mind by the Czech novelist Karel Čapek in 1920. He used this word that is a robot in one play in 1930. That is a please mute your mics. All participants, I request to all participants to mute their mic. Also take care during upcoming sessions. A lot of experts are from the something like a very good institute, IIT, and foreign universities. So please do that things. Take care. I'll just do one thing. Some of mute their mic. Can Monica sir, can we do the mute of all mics of all participants during the sessions? Is it possible for us? Okay, now I think.
Yes, sir. Yes, we can do that. I'll do it from my end. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So now here, the word already we have gone through that word robot is come in the real world in the one play that is held in 1920, and that play is written by the Karel Čapek. He used that Rossum's universal robot, and robota is a Czech word. It is a Czech word, and it is used for the worker or servant who obey the orders by the his boss. Okay, so that is a robot word that is come in the world. Definition of the robot that is given by the Robot Institute of America in 1979. After so many years working on the robot, they have given the one defined definition that robot is a reprogrammable multifunctional manipulator. Manipulator means electromechanical device, you can say, right? So it is a reprogrammable. So you can change the program Right? It is not fixed program, it is a reprogrammable, multifunction. It is not limited to the one function. It can do multifunction. So that is a beauty with this structure. Right? It is designed to move materials, parts, tool, or specialized device. Right? So it can do the material handling, also move the parts, also operate the tools, operate a specialized device also. Uh, so that is a task that it can perform. So here we can see first thing is reprogramming multifunctional manipulator and designed to move the material, parts, tool, and specialized device by which through the variable program motion. So it will go through the very program motion, but it is a variable program motion. So it can be changed and the motion is planned for performance of variety of tasks. So this is a definition given by the Robot Institute of America in 1979. It's describe all things that what is a robot. So it gives the clear idea that to whom you can say the robot, right? So how you can distinguish between the machine and robot, that is given by in this definition, that it is a reprogrammable multifunctional manipulator designed to move material, part, tools, specialized device through variable program motions for performance of a variety of tasks. So this is a very good definition given by the Robotic Institute of America. Now robotics. Robotics is a science or technology of robots, their design, manufacture, applications, and use. So the science which deals with the robots and how it can be designed, how it can manufacture, how it can be used for different applications. So that is robotics. There is one thumb rule given for the robots, that's a 4D and the 4H. So these describes you can use in the dull environment, dirty environment, dangerous environment, and difficult environment. So these 4Ds describe that where you can use the robot. Right? So dull, dirty, dangerous, and difficult environment, all force which cannot be handled by the human beings can be used uh, by the robots. Used robot can operate easily in this environment. And the 4H, the H indicate what heavy, hazardous, and humble environment. So whenever the temperature is very high, the human being cannot sustain in that temperature. At that place also robot can be work. Heavy, there is a heavy sound waves or heavy wind also, something like that one. Chemical hazardous environment, you can say, at that place also it can be used. So here the thumb rules for application is given that 4D and 4H, it can be easily operated. You can easily use the robot in this all 4 cases, 8 cases. Now, how we can relate the robotics and automation. Now, automations are given in the 3 category. That one is a fixed automation, where it is used to design one or make one type of the product. The whole thing is focused that how you can make a one single product. Likewise, you can say the any type of the ring, if that is making the ring, and you are specially designed the machinery that can produce only the ring, then it is known as a fixed automation. It cannot be used for the different product. It can be used for only one product. So the design aspect and the machinery aspect is such that it will give the very high rate of production. So that will justify the cost of the production also. So it will bring down the cost of manufacturing of a single product, but it cannot be used for the different type of the products. If the product will not exist due to some change in the world era, you have to dump that all machinery. You cannot use that machinery. Second one is about the flexible automation, where the different products can be made at the same time on the same system for the batch of the product with a versatility. So in the limited number of the, you can say the number of the products, means different product, but limited number of the products can be made. It is not fixed for the single one, and it can be made for the number of the products. So that is flexible. And the third one is a programmable automation, where a variety of products with a low volume. Either you can go for 1 or 2, 3, 4 pieces. You don't require the batch. You can go for the very low volume, and it is adaptable to variation in the product configuration by control of a program. So you can change the program and you can do the things very easily in this case, right? So robots are near to the programmable automation. As we know that automation and robots lies in the same field, that robot is one part of the automation. So it is near about to the programmable automation. So automatically it will perform the task. And its program can vary for the different types of tasks. So it will lie in the programmable automation. Now, which are the fields robotics is touching, right? We know that robotics is not limited to the one field. It covers a lot of things. Either you can say it is covering the mechanical field, where the whole structure is made from the mechanical elements, link and the joints, right? Thereafter, it is using the your electronics field, uh, electronics field, right? And so in this one, the motors and other things are which is providing the motion to the mechanical structure, that is a lie in the electronics field. Similar manner, IT field, the programs which run the this whole structure, so that all things are depend on the IT fields. Artificial intelligence also used nowadays. Robots are also able to think by itself and also take a decision based on the past history. So they are using the artificial neural network to operate the robots. Control instruments and control branch is also used for robotics and the vision. So they are using the vision camera and sensing the images and the videos and compare with the past history that is fitted inside its memory. And based on that situation, they also take it. So nowadays, robotics is not limited to the one field. It is covering a lot of things, right? So it is nothing one person can do. It requires a group of team to work on this task, and that give the required uh, things as per the applications. So these are the fields, number of the fields where robotics is useful, where the peoples can work on this one. Now we'll go through the history of robotics, so how it is started. Right? So the first thing, when we discuss about the history of the robotics, the first thing that is coming in that is Aristotle in 384 and 322 BC. He was a great thinker. So he think that uh, is it possible that we can put a machine to work, right, for us to perform the routine task on the command, right? So he think this in very early. So in the 384 or 322 BC, Aristotle think that how one machine can be put to perform the tasks as given by the human beings or routine tasks. So he thinks about the automation first of all. Then after the 13th century and the 15th century, some inventors are busy to developing the real automations, mimic human mannerism. Uh, the first generation of the robots were clock control ornaments with a self-moving parts. So something they would think about that in 13th century. Also, they have automated rosters that can be flap its wings and crow every day at noon. Things they have done 13th to 15th century. 18th century, in 1774, inventor Pierre and Henry, they have gone for the automatic scribes. This lifelike figure of a boy could draw and write any message up to 40 character long. So in 1774, they have make such a figure of boy that can write the things. Here also you can see here a robot uh, man and woman playing the piano was another one of the great invention. So here the scribe is shown and our boy is writing the things on the board of 40 characters. Likewise, on here, a woman playing piano was also created in 1774 century. 1938, Jacques Cleaver, occupation built a mechanical duck, right? Made more than the of a 4,000 part. So this figure is of a mechanical duck which is made of 4,000 parts. Duck could quack, bath, drink, and eat grains, digest it, and avoid it also. They have done research on automation in the duck in 1738. So we are thinking that robotics and automation is coming in nowadays era. Not, it is not like that. It is made before the 1500 century, 15th century. 1805, a doll made by the by Ladet that wrote in either French or English could draw the landscape. So this is a robotics field that is 1805. In 19th century, unlike a toy automation of 18th century, robots of the 1800 were cheaply designed to meet growing demand of flourishing industrial society. earlier the thing is that people are making the robots for the entertainment like a duck or like drawing on the boards like that one. But in 19th century, people focused that how we can go for the use of automation for the industrial use. So a good example is the textile machines operated by the punch card. This programmable loom was capable of mass production. Is one of the earliest machines to store the program designed to control its entire motion. So here the textile machinery is shown. This is a textile machinery. So that was designed in early 19th century to do the work automatically by using the punch card. In 1890, the Thomas Edison used a condensed version of his photograph invention in design of famous talking doll. So he used that things for famous talking doll, his invention. In 1898, Nikola Tesla, a famous inventor, patents the first remote control device, that is a teleautomation. You can see that was a crewless bot that was controlled from distance without a wire. So he used the do the patent for the remote bot, right? Remote bot that is a crewless and controlled for the without wires. So that is done by the Nikola Tesla in the 1898 century. Now in 1921, as Ali we discussed that Karel Kapek used this word robota, that is a Czech word, means subservient labor in the Rossum's universal robot. So he make one play, and in that play he used this word. You can define a worker force labor. So it's photograph which is used by him. That is this one, RUR. You can say RUR. That is a Rossum's universal robots. After this play, electromechanical automations were referred to as robots. So why it is very important that after this play, whatever the automation related to this happened, that is known as robots. In 20th century, 1940, Westinghouse Electric Corporation creates a two robot. Right? The first robot you can see, sorry, first robot you can see here. This is a human big body that is called as Electra. Right? So this Electra can dance, count up to the 10, and also spoke. So they have made such a robot, Westinghouse, that in 1940. So that is given name as Electra. Second, they have made this dog, that is a Sparko, that is a companion to this one, and this dog can also walk, stand on his leg, as well as bark. So this all compatibilities given to these two robots. One is like a human being, one is like a dog. In 1941, Isaac Asimov from robotics to describe the terminology of robots. Earlier, the Karel Kapik given the robot word, and 1941, this gentleman, that is Isaac Asimov, given the terminology robotics. He predicted the rise of the robotic industry. So he said that there is a lot of scope for the robots in the industry in the upcoming years. So Asimov produced a series of short stories about robots, starting with a strange playfellow, later remained hobbies for the Super Science Stories magazine. Right? So, he write a Super Science magazine stories where he written a lot of story about the robots, and it's a picture about a child. In over the next 10 years, he produced more story about the robots, and he compiled that stories in one volume, that is iRobot, in 1950. And Asimov also given the 3 laws of robotics. Uh, that is used for the robotics terminology. So here these are the 3 robotics law. That is the first law: a robot may not injure a human being, or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. This is the first important law, that is high order law, you can say. So robot should not injure anyone, and also by any action, it should not injure any human being. Also, it should allow the human being to come to harm him. Right. Second one, robot must obey the orders given to it by the human beings. So that is the second one, that it should obey the orders.
Sir, I think somehow you've been muted.
No one has thought from which time I was muted.
Just a couple of lines, that's it.
Okay, no problem. I think there's a time. Okay, let's complete this this slide. Then after we'll go for the joining of that AICTL program. So here,
Okay, sir.
here this law one is about the robot may not injure the human beings. That is a first thing during its work or some interaction with the human beings. Also allow the human to harm him. Right. Second one, robot must obey the orders given by the human beings, but it should take care about the first law. Third one, robot must protect itself, its own existence, but take care about the higher order law. So these all three laws are strictly followed whenever the robot are designed. It is not like whatever the movie you have seen in the Hollywood or Bollywood that robots are designed to cause some injury to the persons. So that is not allowed. The programming is not allowed for that one. So it is illegal, not ethical also. So that are the boundary which is drawn by the ASIMO, right? So I will try to join the program. So now I request all participant either you can join the program of AI Secretarial by the link which is provided in your mail, or you can stay on this platform where I can share the program what is happening in the AICT inauguration, right? So just wait on the site, this site, or you can go for that link also. And after completion of that program, please rejoin this one if you are leaving this site. If you are remaining on this one, then there is no problem. But if you are leaving, then after completion of the AICT program, please rejoin this link. Just wait, I will join that program if it was started.
Sir, your voice is not coming.
Again, it is mute. What happening? I don't know. Please. So. We are requesting all of you to follow the 2-3 instructions. First one, please join the MS team using the uh, mail ID or username given to you by the Atal FDP our mail. In our mail, we have sent one user ID and password. So please use that one. So that will be helpful for us to take attendance very easily. So after that, we can easily issue the certificate. Otherwise, it will take long time to make attendance. So please use the same username and password which is given to you in our mail. Don't use your personal ID or your institute ID. Otherwise, it will become very difficult.
Sir, you are muted actually.
So how it is happening? I don't know how it is happening. That uh, sometimes I found that after 1 minute it is become mute. Okay. Let's see that. So now I open the page of this inaugural ceremony. It is saying that it will start within 2 or 3 minutes. No problem. We'll wait for that one. Then after I will continue with my presentation. So the presentation from the City Academy will start within 1 or 2 minutes. I think MP Punya sir will give the speech, and also there is Sandy Carter, that is Vice President of Amazon Web Service. She also will be chief guest. So they will also tell about the FDP and its importance. Natal is a very good platform that it will allow the participant as well as an expert from all over the world to join on a single platform, single stage. So it is very good platform. I hope they will start within some minutes. Up to that, I will tell that we are not going for the formal inauguration today. So we started the sessions in 10:30, and already I informed all of you that there are 171 participants who shown the interest from the 20 states, and we are waiting that they will join in these sessions, and also attendance is very important for certificate. So we hope that who's want to take the certificates will join the sessions. And for the attendance purpose, please use the same username and password which is given to you by our email. In last FDP that was held by the Mechanical Engineering Department GEC Modasa in 21st November, people have not used the username and passwords given by us. So it take 1 week to mark the attendance as they are used their own username. So it is very difficult to mark the attendance for us. So we are always insist that please use the same username. So it will be helpful for us. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us to mark the attendance. I think we are waiting for this platform to open out and work for Atal integration.
तुषारहार या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा
Very warm good morning to one and all. A warm welcome to today's inaugural ceremony, Chief Guest.
Good morning, sir.
Sandy Carter. She is Unstoppable Domains SVP and Channel Chief, Board, Culture Engineering, Chairman of Board, Girls in Tech, and Vice President, Amazon Web Services. Today's guest of honor, our own academic visionary leader, Professor M.P. Punia, Vice Chairman, AICT, and Chairman, CSTT. Respected coordinators of Atal FDP and faculty members. It's indeed my proud privilege to welcome visionary academic leaders on one of the most promising flagship program of AICT, that is AICT Training and Learning Academy, Atal. AICT's undivided focus for quality education and creating a complete ecosystem for quality teaching learning process. Yes, it's our high-bro gigantic flagship program for creating the Atal fraternity. Yes, it's going to be a team of highly motivated academic leaders in our country. We in Atal revisiting and revitalizing some of the areas where it has to look, considering that a lot of contemporary changes are happening at global and national level. I am happy to share that more than 7,000 subject experts are now being associated with our Atal Academy. The importance of all emerging areas like AI, ML, blockchain, AR, VR, cyber security, etc. has been constantly growing, and the artificial knowledge-based industries have now occupied the center stage of development, not only in our country, but across the globe. We Indians are very fast learners. So due to COVID, there is a paradigm shift in our teaching learning process, in the pedagogy, the way in our higher education imparting instruction in classroom, laboratory, workshop has now changed. So now our ensuring education is highly cooperative, cross-institutional, multi-directional, multinational, interdisciplinary. So new emerging areas on which AICT is focusing on, which I have already mentioned, AI, ML, blockchain, cybersecurity, etc. For establishing the better convergence between the man and machine and explore the new pedagogy, we must adopt the new technological tool for effective delivery of instructions. Now our students will be equal partner in the new academic self-paced landscape of online learning for conducting largest number of online activities. Now, in the national education policy, I once again welcome you all has been more by joining this event. And now it's time to make one announcement. Due to some urgent meeting, our vice chairman sir would not be able to join us. So I'm inviting today
you guys are celebrating. So thank you so much for Dr. Amit for inviting me to come and just say a few words. So what I'd like to do is to spend the next couple of minutes talking about some of the trends that I'm seeing in the marketplace and some of the other areas that I think are really important for success as you move forward and basically any job that you decide to take. So I'd like to share a few slides with you, if I might, and kind of talk you through some of those trends that we do see on the horizon. So let me start first with my career journey into tech. I actually started out many years ago wanting to be an astronaut. Maybe that's every child's dream when they first begin. But I remember my dad taking me outside with a telescope so that we could look at the moon. And we would imagine what it would be like to go there and to participate in discovery of great new things, being disruptive to what's happening around the world. Of course, as I moved into secondary education and then to college, I went to Duke University. And at that time, I decided I wanted to be a doctor. And why did I do that pivot? Well, I thought I wanted to be a doctor to help others, to really dive into giving back and really focusing on that purpose. It's funny, though, because you know how life takes different turns and twists. And as I was studying to be a doctor, it turns out that many of the smells that are in a hospital actually make me pass out. So that would not make me a great doctor. And I then discovered tech by accident. My advisor knew I was so disappointed about not being a doctor but he was a dual head of computer science at Duke, as well as a head for our medical school. And so he turned me on to coding, to doing programming, so that I could do my senior thesis on how to test on computers instead of doing different testing on animals. And that's how my pursuit into tech began. It's kind of funny how everything pivots back to where you began, though, because most recently I'm an AWS or Amazon Web Services alumni, and I got to work with Maxar, one of our partners that delivered rover to Mars. And so I was actually helping with that journey to Mars through one of our partners in cloud technology. When I started wanting to be an astronaut, I actually helped to get some exploration done in Mars as well. Technology is definitely my first love, and I think every business today is a technology business and will continue to be a technology business. And that's why I think the careers that you've chosen today are so essential as you go forward, because regardless of the industry that you enter into or what you do for the rest of your life, the value of technology will always stay being very important. So what I'd like to do now is kind of turn to those new technologies that I think everyone should be learning. And then I just have a few minutes. I'll just walk you through each of why I feel that those are the critical technologies as we move forward. So if you think about technology, there are, I think, 4 different technologies today that are top technologies that everyone should be learning. The first is IoT. Believe it or not, it has a huge opportunity that was really driven by COVID. With COVID, so many people turned to sensors and devices generating data instead of having people go out and generate that data for them. And so we see that marketplace being huge, and the number of people that are really interested in that area will be continuing to grow, as well as the value that area brings. Now, IoT generates that data that then feeds into artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we believe that this is going to be another huge business, because artificial intelligence and machine learning helps with real-time decision-making. And that's what we're seeing today, that every executive, every company is looking for. How can I improve my decision-making? Gartner says that over 67% of the decisions in the last 2 years have become more complex, and therefore need tools, need more data, and need tools like artificial intelligence and machine learning in order to make them more successful. 2 new areas that you're probably hearing about a lot: the metaverse and what's happening there using augmented reality, but really built on top of several core infrastructure technologies like blockchain and Web 3.0. And then, of course, blockchain is now exploded, which is one of the reasons that I've recently moved into a company called Unstoppable that focuses on identity for that metaverse, for Web 3.0, and for that blockchain world. So let me now take you through each of these and how we see this shaping out and why these are critical new technologies. So let's start first with Internet of Things. And this is really about putting sensors on everything that's out there today to generate more data. That data helps you to make better business decisions because it enables you to have all that data that you need, the quantity and the quality that you require in order to build the right set of learning models. So IoT is becoming more important because it gives you the right source of data, it gives you real-time data, and it really helps you to drive that data into a data lake so it can now be used very differently. We've seen data being used off of IT sensors from drones that circle the ocean looking for air temperature and water temperature to robots in hospitals in Latin America, taking temperature, doing readings on your lung rate so that you can avoid having a person maybe do that first screening for COVID, for example. We're now seeing sensors in everything. And IDC tells us that since COVID, the use of IoT data has gone up by over 40% year over year because of the new needs in the marketplace. We're also seeing public and private partnerships around this data. So, for example, a city in Virginia who uses and leverages IoT sensors for flooding in the region has now partnered with the public community to gather data as well, coming in from cell phone technology. So the combination of IoT sensor data with that community data, public-private partnership, has really accelerated as well. So this is one of the reasons why I think all of us need to know about IoT devices, IoT sensors, and in particular, how to keep that secure, that data secure as well. Now, one of the reasons that IoT has become so very important is that machine learning is accelerating in our world today. And you can see machine learning being used everywhere to forecast sales data, to do fraud detection. We have many companies using machine learning to anticipate when a cybersecurity attack may or may not happen. It's also being used in cities around the world to better regulate water, traffic, public safety itself, to making sure that education is now leveraging the use of machine learning and as well as recruiting. But in order for machine learning to really do its job, you've got to have a strong data strategy. You got to have the right sources of data, the right quantity of data, and the right quality of data. And all that happens today with our first trend, which was IoT generating all of that data, really feeding into the use of machine learning. Now, machine learning, for me, has a lot of power in it. Not only does it now help you to optimize your business because it enables you to spot inefficiencies and to do much more sophisticated planning as you go, but that number one area we talked about, 91% of CEOs are looking for ways to make better decisions, do it smarter, do it faster. And the way that you do that is using AI and ML to ensure that you're anticipating, not just looking in the rear view mirror, but looking forward as well. We also know that product management and developing that right new product or making enhancements to a product that you have is also a crucial part of the future. And artificial intelligence can help you in that way too. It can help you with customer engagement, helps you to figure out what's really important in the next new product situation and really develop that deeper experience. And in particular, coming up with net new product ideas by correlating tens of thousands of customers' input to anticipate that next product area. I do think that product management really has an impact on companies. The company who has great product management can really win, and I think AI and ML gives you an extra boost and really helps you to have that bar-raising capability. And we're seeing the impact of AI and ML everywhere. So whether it is, automation of documents, think how many documents you have just in your government alone. And if you can do that automation in a smart way, not just automate, but do it in a smart way, how much more powerful artificial intelligence is. Think about COVID, where we had to move to a lot more remote learning. Remote learning is also crucial. And if you can customize that using artificial intelligence, how much more powerful that is. And then, of course, during COVID as well, cybersecurity attacks increased considerably throughout the world. And so finding and determining ahead of time potential fraud detection will also make a huge difference. So AI, I think, is a critical technology for everyone to learn. But now I'm going to enter kind of the next phase, this area that's called Web 3.0 or the metaverse. And I think the metaverse is really the future, and it's just starting today. So it's a great time to get involved in it. If you break down some of the technologies that are needed inside of the metaverse, you first start with that Web 3.0 layer. And what is Web 3.0 about? Well, if you think about it, Web 1.0 was about commerce, right? Making sure that you could conduct business on the web. Web 2.0 was then adding in not just a one-way communication, but a two-way communication with social media and ensuring that you've got the capability of doing two-way conversations, but that also introduced a whole set of centralization of data, which we talked about in the very first area, how important data is. Web 3.0 seeks to free that data. It's looking at decentralized access, meaning that the user, you or myself, is the one who controls that information. There's self-sovereignty. I get to value that data and sell that data when I want to. And this is why, again, I came to Unstoppable Domains, because we're working on logins to manage that decentralization of data, of information that enables you as a user to keep that information versus letting that information be owned by another company. Now, sitting on top of Web 3.0 is that blockchain crypto area. And why is that so important? Well, what blockchain then enables you to do, and we'll spend a section on blockchain too, it enables you to have that trusted communication. It really is an enabler for Web 3.0 so that you have the right ability and capability to validate information. So from a university perspective, think about validating that you got your degree, validating that you got your certain set of classes completed. Well, if that resides on the chain, on a blockchain, that information is validated, it's trusted, and it's private. So no longer would you have to go back to a university to get your records. You could easily then possess that information yourself and use that information when you need it to. It goes beyond just university information. You can think about healthcare information, social information, purchasing information, and the list goes on. Now, the next layer here is DIOs, or distributed ways to manage these communities. One of the most famous ones was here in the US, where one DIO is trying to by the U.S. Constitution, so that would forever be owned by the people for the people. These are typically artificial-driven dynamic governance models. And so it really puts, again, that power and control back with the group of people versus a company or a single entity. And then, of course, sitting on top of that is the metaverse itself, where that digital experience or that digital world exists. So you can think about, for example, Epic Games and their Unreal Engine. I know that Facebook has, entered into this space, creating an alternate universe using augmented reality and virtual reality to create a way to interface with all that great technology that sits underneath it. And then, of course, interfaces as well are changing inside the metaverse as well. Thinking about things versus speaking or having to text or type will become more important, and having human APIs, not just machine-driven APIs. Now, one of the critical elements of this metaverse economy is that it's a two-sided marketplace. You have created economics on the left-hand side. Think about things like NFTs, creating a gallery of NFTs, creating that multi-sided creators platform. And on the right-hand side, or the other side of the two-sided marketplace, are these digital networks. These are multi-sided consumption. Who buys those NFTs? Who leverages and who uses those as well? So as you can see, there's much excitement in the metaverse, and it's all going to be based on Web 3.0 as well as blockchain and crypto as well. This is, for me, where the future resides, which is why I joined Unstoppable Domains, because it does help in this area. But now let's investigate kind of what this is all based on, what is required here, which is the blockchain itself. So the blockchain is a trusted ledger. It enables that data to be trusted. It is, well, I'll talk here in a second about how it's got multi-levels of trust. It distributes the data as well, and it helps to solve a common business problem between multiple parties. And so you can imagine all kinds of things living on the blockchain. And in fact, we see that Gartner projects that most financial institutions will live on the blockchain, as well as a lot of retailers here very shortly coming up. And then this will move even further into multiple industries. So again, another hot topical area. Some of the keys for a great blockchain is a self-sovereign identity, meaning that the data and the information that's on the chain is not owned by a company, but is owned by an individual. Blockchain helps to decentralize finance. So instead of waiting for a bank to open on Monday morning, it's now decentralized. So transactions can occur at any moment of time. There now also exist these things called NFTs, and you've probably seen them popping up in the sports world with people like Adidas, who sold out of their NFTs in hours. Nike just produced NFTs. The Bond movie had the NFT for the 7 NFTs for their Bond ticket 007. These non-fungible tokens are digital pieces of art that are now trusted, that they are validated, that you own it because of the chain. And then, of course, this whole area of digital currency. I know this area is really hot inside of India. I just checked and there are over 800,000 blockchain and Web 3.0 jobs open right now in India. So I know this area is really hot there as well. So as you think about all of these technologies, technology is really important. But the other thing that's really important as well is your leadership skills and how you leverage that technology to help make the world a better place. And so one of the things that I think a great leader does, especially moving forward, is acting like an open API. Now, you're all technologists, so you know an open API enables a company to share their knowledge and their subject matter expertise with other companies. Typically, other companies will pay for that knowledge. But I think a great leader in this century acts like an open API at all times. And I'll tell you one story, because I was actually headed to India, one of my favorite places to visit in the world. And I tweeted that I was heading over to India. Of course, for me, it was a 21-hour flight. And I landed, I went straight to the hotel. I was hoping to go straight to sleep. But when I arrived at the hotel, the general manager said to me, Sandy, a real big group of people are waiting for you. I had to move them into a ballroom. So I couldn't imagine who would be waiting for me at 11:30 p.m. at night after I had taken a 21-hour flight. And so I went and opened the door, and people were Bollywood dancing, having a great time. I knew that wasn't my team, so I went back to the general manager, and he said, no, that is the group that's waiting for you. I went back in the group, and I will never forget this day when Anil came running up to me. He was with the Social Media Club in Mumbai, and he had seen my tweet, decided that he wanted to meet me. But not only did he want to meet me, he decided to invite the entire Social Media Club. So by the time I arrived at 11:30 at night, there were already 150 people gathered together in that room to meet me. And so I had a decision to make. He had a projector set up in the middle of the room, wanted to hear some information at that time about Web 2.0 and social media. And so my decision was, do I say, look, I've got a meeting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. I have to go to sleep? Or do I say, no, I'm going to share my information. I'm going to act like an open API and help you out. Well, obviously, I chose to share information. And so from 11:30 p.m. at night till 2 a.m. in the morning, we had conversations about Web 2.0 and what was happening and where things were going. I'll never forget it because I acted like an open API. As I took meetings in India, everybody knew everybody. And I showed up for my first meeting, and the guy came to me and said, are you that crazy woman who went and stayed up till 2 a.m. at the Social Media Club? My nephew is part of that, or my son's niece daughter is part of that. And so that was a reaction I got all over my trip to Mumbai that time. And in fact, when I got up to give my presentation, I got a standing ovation only after introducing myself, because the Social Media Club of Mumbai was sitting over to my right-hand side. And once I introduced myself and thanked them, they stood up and gave me a standing ovation. So one of the things that I'm hoping that you guys will do is that you'll constantly give back to. It's one of the reasons that I'm recording this really late at night, because I care about you. And I want to act like an open API and share some of the knowledge that I have with you. My second big life lesson that I want to share with you is that I want you always to be curious about questions that get asked. And I want you to ask a lot of questions. And this really came through. A friend of mine is a professor at Stanford, and she was sharing through some of her research that found that the big innovators, the Jeff Bezos, the Stephen Jobs when he was alive, the Elon Musk, they ask thousands of questions a day. Same as kids, right? Young kids will ask, why is the sky blue? Why are there clouds in the sky? And so the innovators ask questions, whereas an average adult only asks 10 questions a day. So I want you to ask a lot of questions, because this is how you learn and this is how you're curious. Because what you've been taught here today will last you for a time, but you're going to have to be continually learning. And the only way you can do that is if you are curious. So this is an example from my time at AWS. We were struggling with figuring out how we would get more data scientists and more machine learning experts. And of course, so we asked the question, how should we do this? The obvious answer is get more classes, right? And you can talk about how you want the classes to be done, who wants to teach them. But as we started asking more questions, we knew that we needed more than just classes. And we knew that we needed more people to be interested in this. And so as we dug deeper and deeper, we decided to create Deep Racer, which is this car here. This car is 1/18 the size of a real race car. It has IoT sensors that we talked about earlier all over it. It uses machine learning models that are reinforcement-based machine learning models. And we have fun with it. We have Deep Racer racing leagues, and you race and you can win prizes for racing around that track. It's a very powerful concept to get even more and more people to want to learn and understand about machine learning and AI. But we wouldn't have reached this point if we didn't ask more questions. We would have ended up just with standard classes. And by having this, we now have all female teams coming out of the Philippines. We have companies running Deep Racer leagues at their company with everywhere from senior executives everywhere down to the programmers that work there as well. We've really disrupted and revolutionized the way you teach machine learning because we didn't stop at question one. We asked a lot of questions. And then my final lesson that I wanted to leave you with is that wherever you go, I want you to lead with a purpose. Having a purpose will make you feel as though you are living your best life. As you select your next job, as you select your next pursuit, what you want to do. Obviously, you want to help a company with their profit, but you also want to make sure that you're working on them with their purpose too. That purpose for me at AWS was public sector, helping out in public and private relationships. And my purpose now in Web 3.0 with Unstoppable is to make sure that we can decentralize information and take that power and give it back to the person to control their own data. As a Carnegie Mellon adjunct professor, I do that to give back to the next generation, to raise up the next generation, or being on the board of Girls in Tech, helping that next generation of women understand the power of STEM. So whatever you do, I want you to make sure that you're thinking about your goal and your purpose, because life is more than just technology. It's more than just making a profit. It really is about having purpose. You know, today, if you think about what's going on with COVID, companies like Forbes and Fortune are finding that those companies with a purpose, with a goal, and those employees who feel connected to that purpose are those that are having the highest retention rates as they move forward. And so I would just encourage you, whether you're, the CEO at a company or whether you're leading a development team, whatever you're doing, make sure that you're able to link that back to your purpose. So I want to end by saying thank you again for the honor for coming to share my insights with you today. I wish you all the greatest luck in the world. Remember some of those cool technologies, IoT, or, to generate the data, AI and ML that can help you with real decision making. Metaverse that starts you in that Web 3.0 world based on blockchain, that trusted network that you need to ensure that you are certifying and validating the data that you are looking at is true and accurate. But don't just remember the technology. Also remember about leaving the world a better place, making sure that you're acting like an open API and you're sharing your information, even if it's inconvenient, even if it's at 2 a.m. Make sure that you are asking a gazillion questions, not just one or two getting to the obvious answer, but keep pushing, keep asking, because that's where the innovation occurs. And finally, make sure that you leave the world a better place. Act with a purpose, whether that purpose is changing a couple people's lives or millions of people's lives. Make sure that you have that purpose as well. Again, I'm so honored to be here today. I hope that you've gotten some insight. Best of luck, and let me know how I can help you in the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam, for your kind words and giving a comprehensive overview about the new emerging areas like metaverse economy, interfaces, metaverses, IOs, blockchain, crypto, Web 3.0.
Please wait. We are rejoining our session. Just wait. Just taking time. Are you able to see this slide now?
Yes, sir.
And also, I think you're getting my voice. Already we started this topic, but due to some audio problem earlier, I just take a few minutes to start this all things once again. Okay, so the first session is about the robotics. Already we started on 10:30. I will give you brief overview about this. The first word, the robot, is given by the Karl Kapek in 1920 during one play was happened 1920. He written this play, and the title of play is Rossum Universal Robots. And robota is a Czech word. It is a meaning having a worker or servant. And Robert Institute of America in 1979 given one definition that what is robot. So it says that it is a reprogrammable, so you can change the program, you can give the different instructions, multifunctions, it can perform various tasks, and the manipulator. Manipulator means it is a electromechanical structure which designed to move materials, power, tools, specialized devices. So the function it has to perform to move material parts, tools, and specialized devices through variable program motions. Right? So it take various motions that are the program, right, for performing the various variety of the tasks. So this is a standard definition given by the Robot Institute of America, that robot is a reprogrammable, multifunction manipulator which is designed to move material part tools through variable program motions for performance of variety of tasks. So by this definition, you can separate out the different automatic machine to the robots. And robotics is a science and technology of robots. Its designs, how it is manufacturing, how it is used in the applications. Right? So that is a robotics. What are the science that deals with the robots, its design and manufacture and application and use, that is known as robotics. There is a thumb rules given for the applications, that are the 4D and 4H. The 4D means it can be used in the dull environment, dirty environment, dangerous environment, and the difficult environment. So you can use in the something like in garbage also the robots where the human being cannot be do the work, or some dirty or dangerous environment that can be used. Likewise, the 4H are written that it can be used for the hot temperature where the human being cannot sustain. It can be used for the heavy and hazardous environment and humble environment. So these are the 4D and 4H which define the application rule, right? So it is very important thumb rules for the robot applications. Thereafter, robots is come inside the program automations. There is a fixed automation that is used for the one type of the product, and which made use one specific machines which is producing the one type of the product. If product is not existing, then machine will not have any type of the use. It will go for the garbage. Second one is the flexible automations where the different products can be made at the same times with the same system, but in the batch of the product. And third one, that is the programmable automation where variety of products of low volumes can be produced, adaptable to variation in the products configuration. So you can change the product configuration also. So robots are near to the programmable automation. So it will lie in the field of the programmable automations. Earlier also we discussed about the field which touch the robotics. Robotics is not a core branch. It is having a subsidiary branch or a collaborative branch, you can say. So the mechanics, that is a mechanical branch that deals with the structure and the body of the robots, which is made with the help of the different joints and the linkages. Electronics and electrical branch, there are certain drives are there that used to give the motion to the body and the structure. IT, that is a programming branch that give the instruction to the hardware by using the controllers. AI, artificial intelligence, nowadays it is used. Already the chief guest, that is Sandy Carter, also discussed about the importance of the AI, that what is the importance of AI and machine learning and how it can be useful in nowadays. Controllers, variety of controllers are used in robotics, so control branch is also important reasons. So here the image capturing and the video capturing and its comparison with the stored in memory will be also useful. So the variety of fields are there that is touching with the robotics. History of the robotics. We will discuss in fast very about the history of robotics. The first idea that is come in the mind of the Aristotle in 384, that is about the putting machine to work for us for performing the routine tasks based on the commands. That is think by the Aristotle. Lot of people have discussed about the 13th and the 15th century. They discuss about the mimicry, human mannerisms, right? Here in 1774, inventor Pierre and Henry Lucius Jacquet draws unveiled about the automatic scribes, that a boy can write a 40 character long word message by using this structure. So that they have made automatic scribe for that one. Also, some has made the woman that can play the piano, robot woman. Here in 1738, duck, mechanical duck made of a 4,000 part that can quack, that can bath, they can drink and eat again and digest and void it. So they have done some automation work. In 1805, they have made the doll made by the Maliatrat that can wrote either in the French or English and also draw the landscape. And first time in the 18th century, in 19th century, uh, uh, they would think about that how this automation can be useful for the industrial society. So in 19th century, a textile machine that is shown in these photographs that is made which can operate by the using of the punch card. So this is a programmable loom, was capable of mass production and is one of the earliest machines that can to store a program designed to control its entire motion. So that is operated based on the punch card. In 1819, Thomas Edison used condensed version of its phonograph invention in the design of a famous talking doll. Right. Nikola Tesla in 1898 made the tele-automations. He gone for the patent of this first remote control device that is a crewless bot, you can say, that can be controlled with a distance without the wires. So this bot can be controlled. Earlier already I told you that in 1921 the robot word was first used in the world. So that is given by the Karl Kapik, and this is RUR, that Robota, that is a Rossum's Universal Robots that is designed in 1920. Right. The word is Czech word. Its meaning is very simple. That is a worker or forced labor under the supervision of a boss. You can say human being. In 1940, the Westinghouse Electric Corporation created two robots. First robot you can see here, that is look like it's a human being. That name is Electra. So the Electra can dance, count up to the 10 and the smoke also. And it has a one companion, that is a dog. So that dog can bark, also walk, stand, and the activity like a dog can be performed. So they have made the two robots. In 1941, Isaac Asimov first used the word robotics, right? So to describe the technology regarding robots, and also he predict that there will be very good rise of the robot industry. A lot of people will use the robots. Industry will use the robot. It will growing industry. So he predict about that one. So this is Isaac Asimov. Also, his contribution is very good enough that he has given the three laws of robotics. Also, he written a lot of story regarding the science story regarding the robots, and that all science story which he was written in the last 10 years were clubbed together, and he published one book, that is I, Robot, in 1950. Right. So he's given the this book, that is Asimov's I, Robot, and he also written three laws for robotics. And nowadays also, when you design the robot, you have to consider these three laws. So these are the base laws that has to be think before designing the robot. So he has given the law 1, that is a robot may not injure human beings. That is the first law. Through its inaction, right? Whenever it is in action, it should not injure the human being. Also allow the human being to come to harm it. Right? If human being is harming, then also that will not a big problem, but it should allow the harming by the human being. But it should not injure the human being. So that is the first law. That is a higher order law. First higher order law. Second law that is given by the Asimov, that is a robot must obey the orders given to it by the human beings. So second thing is that it should obey the order, except where such orders would conflict with higher order law. So sometimes if one person made a robot and tell that kill the second person, then it should not allow it. So the second law says that it should obey the order, but it should not hazardous to the human being, right? Injuries to the human being. The law third, that is, our robot must protect its own existence, right? As long as such protection does not conflict with a higher order law. So he has defined these three laws so that people in industry can safely use the robot, and they can design the robots. So they have put this ethical law, logical law, legal law that should be followed whenever they are designing the robot or making the robot. Otherwise, you have seen a lot of Bollywood, Hollywood movies where robots is used and they are creating some conflict regarding these three laws. So that is not allowed. In 20th century, the Walter used the first autonomous tortoise type robots. Right. In 1951, Raymond gods designed a teleoperator device that allow the action to be performed at a distance. In 1962, the first industry, that is General Motor, installed first industrial robot on a production line. It is Unimate robot and used in a car factory to run by the General Motor in Trenton, New Jersey. So that is 1962, the first industrial robot was used in the automobile industry. The robot lifted hot pieces of metal from die casting machine and stacked them. So that is a very difficult task to lift that hot pieces of metal. So that is done and used in the General Motor first of all. So this is about the photographs of Unimate robot that is here. You can see in this photograph. So the first programmable robot that is developed by George Dionne, the term that is universal automation. Also, he later shortened this Unimation, which becomes a name of the first robot company, with Joseph Engelberger. Joseph Engelberger also worked in this one, and he given lot of things about the modern robotics. He have created a lot of robots also, how to be used in the industry also. So the Joseph Engelberger is known as the father of robotics. So this is Unimate robot that is shown in these photographs of the arm of that Unimate robots. The second one, that is 1968, SRI International, formerly known as Stanford Research Institute, built first mobile robot with a vision capability. So here the photograph is shown. So this is a robot which is having a vision capability. Sankey was equipped with a television camera, wide range of finder and the sensor. So they installed the camera for that one also. Sankey was the first mobile robot that could think and respond to the world around it. So in 1968, they have developed this Sankey robot. Right? So that is an interactive one. Right? So it can think and respond also. In 1968, General Electric made a walking truck. Here you can see the walking truck. The two human operators are there. That was the first manual controlled walking truck. 1969, Victor Sinman creates a stand-firm arm. So this arm is look like a human arm. So that is used for that one. And the arm designs become standard and still influencing the design of robot arm today. So here also nowadays people are working that how it can be reached to the actual arm. Right? This is the first arm created in 1969. Here the 1974, the Professor Senman of standard form arm frame forms to market a version of arm controlled by the microcontroller for the industrial application. So he make one industrial application arm that can be sold in 1974. This robotic arm was known as a silver arm and that performed the small part assembly using the touch sensitive sensors. So here this photograph shows that industrial arm. So in 1974, the people are using the robots for the assembly purpose also. 1978, the Puma, that most famous robot, that is programmable universal machine for assembly robot, was developed by the Unimation with a General Motor design support. So this is a Puma Motors arm, Puma robotic arm, developed by the General Motors with the help of this father of robotics. Sam Benner, 1979, SCARA, that is a selective compliance assembly robotics arm, was developed. It is near to the human being arm. Then the 1980, the robot industry enters a phase of the rapid growth. Many institutions introduced the programs, courses in robotics. So after 1980s, people understand that it should be widespread. People should know about the technology, use the technology. Industry should use the technology and should get the sufficient operator who can operate the robot. So they have introduced the different courses, like robotic courses in 1980. Are spread across the mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and computer science department. So here you are seeing the different photographs of the robots. Here the 1989, the walking robot named Chengis is unveiled by the Mobile Robots Group MIT. MIT has developed this mobile robot. 1983, Dante 8-leg walking robot developed by the Cambridge Mellon University descended at Mount Erebus, Antarctica. So they use this robot 8-leg robot in Antarctica that is used for the harsh environment. In 1994, the Dante 2 was made for that one to go for the Alaska volcano. 1996, Honda company also work for the robot, and they make a P3 robots. There you can see the photographs that is near to the human being, and that appear in the field of the robotics. Also, some Pathfinder mission lands on the Mars. They use the robotics land rovers, and in 1997, in 1999, Sony released the Aibo robotics pet. So in Japan, they have gone for the Aibo robotic pet in 1999. 1997, the Honda produced a robot that was more human-like and totally mobile in everyday environment. P3 can walk around, also climb the stair, not on the flat surface. It can also climb the stair, also carry things, pick the things up and push the things. Its camera-based eyes helps it to position itself accurately and also stay balanced during the walking, so that all things are accompanying this robot. And then after they have gone for some more advanced things, and they created the Asima robots that can dance. Right? Its ability to move has been increased. A new portable controllers makes it more easier to operate. So they have developed the Asimo humanoid robots. So they think about the humanoid robots, so that can be used in the service sector also. In NASA, also they will think about that use of the robots in 2003 in the Mars mission. So they have gone for exploration rovers by using this robotics. So here you can see the photographs of the rovers to find out the water on the Mars. That is happened in 2003. Now we have seen a lot of application of the history of the robotics. Now robots are classified in the by the various groups, but majorly here we will divide the robots into two groups, either the industrial robots or second one is a service robot. Automatically controlled programmable multi-purpose and 3 and more axes are used in the industrial automation applications. Mostly we are using the 3 and more axes for industrial automation application. Based on the 5 different kinetics types that are equipped with the application and specific end effector, mostly these are used in the industrial automation. Right, so you will see the lot of things are similar to the human arms. Right, they are only use the single arms that can be used for the assembly or some welding and bending and other things. So that are covered inside the industrial robotic group. Second one, please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. One of the participants has unmuted his mic. Please mute. Second one, that is a service.
From here directly. Last warning.
I think one of the participants forgot to mute his mic. Second group is a very big group, that is service robots. Nowadays, people are working on that one. You will get a vacuum cleaner robot.
Hello. Hello. Sir, please unmute your mic.
Thank you to tell me that mic is unmuted. Now, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible.
Okay. Let's move to the next. So these are the two major groups where we can classify in the two groups: industrial robot or service robot. There is very blurring lines between this industrial and service robot. It can be merged, you can say. Here you can see, depends on its application. The same unit can be used for the service robot or industrial robot. Users concept changes, new application emerge. Right? Reimagine the business process to make optimal use of the collaborative robots. Right? AI and machine learning technologies enables robots to sense and respond to their environment. Earlier, the robots are based on the fed instruction. I repeat the instruction that please mute mic of robot are increasing to work in different environments and also in the private lives also people are using. You can see the photographs. Please mute your mic. Now, different types of the robots. Earlier already we grouped.
Sir, your mic is mute. Yes, sir.
Now we turn on your mic. Okay. Just in case. Please wait. Please wait. So the classification is based on the configurations. I will discuss this part as in next upcoming sessions. We are going to focus on the configuration of the robot. So I will highlight this point. Please wait. There is something happening. Please wait. Please mute all mics. I think the PowerPoint has hung up due to these all things. Yes, I'm trying to make it on presentation mode, but it hang up. Please wait. It will take a few minutes. Just wait, I will reshare the thing. Just I'm opening the PowerPoint once again. Once it will open, I will share it. Thank you that you are passionate about that. I hope you are able to see the slide. Are you able to see the slide?
No, sir, not yet.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, please wait. Reshare it again. Now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, just I want to put in out. Please mute here in your mic. Classification of the robots. Here you can see the first thing is based on the physical configuration. You can classify the robots based on the application. We already discussed that either industrial or service robots. Based on the control methods and power sources like different drives, electrical, mechanical, or hydraulic. You can say pneumatic. And the different types you can classify the robots, but we focus on the physical configuration. As next session, the expert talk about this configuration of the robot. The physical configuration is first one, that is a Cartesian coordinate, where you can see on this side uh, uh, the robot which is having a 3 linear motion. So it can slide in X, Y, Z direction. So 3 Cartesian robots, that is known as a Cartesian robot. Here you can see it can only slide, it cannot rotate, right? It can have a linear motion in X, Y, Z direction. So that is known as a Cartesian robot. Here you can see the actual photograph of our Cartesian robot where it is allowed to move in X, Y, Z direction only in linear manner. The second one, that is a cylindrical configuration robot, which is having a 2 sliding motion. Here you can say in the radial direction as well as in height also it is can slide, but it can rotate about the center axis. So here you can get that it can cover the cylindrical volume. So robot arm can reach in the volume of a cylinder. So there is a 2 linear joint and 1 rotary joint in this type of the robots. Here you can see the actual photograph of the cylindrical robot. Then after the third one, that is a spherical or polar robots. So that is having a spherical volume which it can cover. So in this one case, there are the 2 rotary joint and 1 prismatic joints. Here you can see the robot photographs. It is mostly used in die casting and also used in the arc and spot welding. The spherical configuration, you can see the actual robot which is used in the industry to lift the planes. Then after the next category, that is articulated or joint arm configuration, normally mostly used in the industry. It is similar to the human arm, right? It is having 3 rotary joints and it is used for the assembly purpose, welding purpose, spraying, painting purpose, die casting. So it is similar to our human arm. You can know that there is an elbow, there is a joint and the different links. So it is having the same configurations. So that is known as joint arm configuration. Always when we think or read about the automation and robotics, we think a lot of things are designed by the scientists and engineers. But at the same time, if we'll think our body, we'll see our body, then we can find that God has already done these all things at the start. A human being is a human being body or some animal body, variety of the animal body and human being body is reflect that God is very ahead than us. What we are thinking today is after the 2000 years of lakh year, then also we cannot compete with the God creation. Right. So here also we are not able to create the similar to the human hand or similar to the human body right now also. But God has created a lot more year ago. So the science and the technology try to reach near to that, but it is also lag behind that one. So here we are designed to create a joint arm configuration similar to the human body, human arm. So we it can do the different work. So here the shoulder joint, first you can see elbow joint and the forearm, and this is upper arm. So this is a articulated robot, which is a, if you put the skin on that one, it will look like a human arm. There is a last, that is a snake-like robot is there, so it can move like a snake. General configuration of the robots. So here you can see the fixed body is there. It is a fixed body robot, so that can swing the arm from the base. There is a shoulder swelling is there, elbow extension is there, and the 3 motion. If you will see your hand and the wrist, you will find the wrist as a 3 motion. That is it can pitch, it can roll, it can yaw. So that all 3 are given in this configurations, the pitching, rolling, and yawing or motion to this robotic arm. And here the hand effector is there, where you can mount the tools and other things. Here you can see the computer control, that is some electronics, so that will give the instruction to this robot, that will on off the motors which are fitted on these joints, right? So the robot is nothing but here you can see the mechanical structure is there, which is having the link and the joint, and to give the motion here either we put the motor on itself on the joint, or we are using some belt drive or some other thing to give the transfer the motion. So either you can put the motors at the base, either you can put the motor on the linkages, and you can provide the motion. So to run that motor, we have provided the controllers, and the controllers will give the signal to the motors, and based on the motor motion, you will get final motion on the end effector. Here you can see the 5-axis articulated robots, that is scorebot ERP robot with its controller. This is a teach and pendant method control remote is there. You can see the base, fixed base is there. Here there is 2 motors. One motor will give the elbow motions, and one is at the base to rotate about the surrounding. So here the gripper is shown that is picking the piece. Here the different configurations are shown. So the first component of the industrial robot is a manipulator. Manipulator is nothing but an electromechanical device which is having a part of robot that can perform the task. So the thing, that real thing, that is a body or structure, that is a mechanical one, manipulator one. It covers the link, joint and the drives. Second one, that is a controller, that is a brain. You can see the computer center which coordinates the robot movements. The third one, that is a power supply and the actuator, different types of drives that are attached to the body, and the sensor and the indicator. So manipulator, here you can see the photographs of the scorebot ER5 robot, which is having it's a manipulator. Here, this is a section of the manipulator. You can see this whole body is manipulator. This is a controller. This is a programming section. And here the whole work volume is one. Right. So the first thing, that is a manipulator, that is having a base. It has a shoulder, it has an arm, it has a grip, you can say. So it will look like similar to the human hand. So major thing is link and the joints. Robotic manipulator used in manufacturing are example of the fixed robot. Normally in the manufacturing or production unit, the robots are used having a fixed robot. It's not allowed to move. Just it whole base will remain fixed and the arm will move. So that will give the rigidness and some more power to do the work. So here you can see this is a A255 robot that is having a fixed base. The second one type is the mobile based robot. So that is having wheels at the base, or you can see like a truck. So they are using the wheels to move, or they are using the legs to move from one place to other place. So these are the two types of the robot, either fixed base and the mobile base. So based on the structure, and you can go for that one. Based on the application also, you can select particular type of the robots. Second one is a controller. So controller is a brain that issue the instruction to the robot and control the peripheral devices. Also it will see the things. So controllers is having a different type of chip, right? So that can store the information, compute the control commands, and perform the and send the signal to the drives, actuators. So lot of small chips are there that are used in the robots, and also it having a storage devices on its mounted, so that can store the instruction also. So nowadays also Indian government also work on the chip manufacturing. So they have announced the one policy before 10 days that they will give some benefits to the chip manufacturing company which are coming in the India, and also give some incentive to them. It is a very big field that chip manufacturing is a growing field also, and also before 2 or 3 days before, you have seen in the newspaper also, a lot of automobile vehicles or cars are in the company that they are waiting for the chip. If they got the chip, they can come on the road. So that is the thing, that all structure is made, but if there is no chip, then it can become the dead one. Right? So this chip make the whole structure alive. Right? So if this chip is there, then it can be make a thing to work. Right? Otherwise, the thing become the stone, or you can say the dead one. Different types of the robot chips are there. Here the RoboBot robotics controller is shown. Basic STEM 2 modules is shown. Actuator, that are the drives. We are knowing that use power to drive the motors, and that provide the motion to the robots. Either that is hydraulic drive, pneumatic drive, or electrical drive. So by using the air also you can move the parts. By using the oil also you can move the parts. You can directly couple the electric motor. The actuators photos, hydraulic motors. This is a pneumatic cylinder. This is a pneumatic cylinder. Some electrical motors are shown, stepper motor, DC motor, and servo motors that are used for the robots. The next thing is a sensor, the main component of our robots, so that make it interactive. So as we know that human senses are having a sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. So same type of the sensor, robot sensors are there, which will make it capable to having these all things. So that can be used for arm positioning, and also that can sense the presence of toxic gas and surrounding environment also. So robot often need information that is beyond the 5 human senses, right? So that can ability to see in the dark also that can be possible in the robot. We have the sense that we can see the things in the light only, but without light also robot can see by using the infrared and things. So that type of the senses can be given to the robot also. So sensor is very important component. The next component of the robot is hand effector. So hand effector, commonly known as the robot hand, um, mounted on the wrist, enable robot to perform the specified task. So it is a hand effector that do the task, right? Likewise our hand wrist, right? So hand effector categorized in the two category. There is a gripper and the tools. Either that is a gripper like human fingers, or you can mount directly the welding gun or something like that one as a hand effector. Here the photographs of the 2-finger hand effector is shown. This is a 4-finger hand effector, 5-finger hand effector is there. So that hand effector can use uh, to pick the thing from one place and to put the things on other place. Also sometimes the tools are used like welding tools or something. Here the wrist motions, what are the wrist motions you can give, that is the rolling of the wrist, yawing of the wrist and pitching of the wrist. And that is mount of the robot arm. Grippers, sometimes the grippers are also attached, mechanical grippers or vacuum grippers. To lift the flat plates, they use the vacuum cups. So that vacuum cup become the hand effector and the hand gripper, and that can lift the flat plates also. For the iron type of the items, which is having magnetism, so magnetic grippers are used, so that can lift the iron particles or ferrous particles. Some adhesive grippers are also used. Some hooks and some other grippers are also used for robotic motions. The next thing is robotic programming, that is give the instruction to the robot. So typically perform using one of the speech recognition programming. So operator can also give the speech command to the robots, or sometimes the teach pendant type of the programming, teach and playback type of the programming can be used. So and the high level robot programming, either you can directly write the programs and send to the robots. So these are the 4 methods for programming: either speech based, either teach and pendant based, or teach and playback and high level programming. So people are using the ACL language, a score based language for the making the programs. Large number of the robotic programming is available. Robot Studio and various type of the softwares are available to program the robots. Here one of the screenshot of the score based programming is shown, where you can give the instruction to move the XYZ axis as well as to move the joints. Here you can see the photographs that are how the X, Y, Z are designated and how it can be given the instruction in the program. Here it shows the one program and simulation. And after telling about the different components, I will directly come on the topic of the one thing, that is International Federation of Robotics has given one magazine that is published in 2020 that deals about the industrial robots, where we are standing in the world about the industrial robot. So they say that 2.7 million units are sold in 2019. That is the highest number of the robots sold in 2019 about the industrial robots, right? And it is growing one. Here we'll see the data that operational stock of industrial robot in 1000, how it is growing. In 2019, only 1000 unit is there, means it is near to the 3 digits you can add, so that is a 10 lakh robots are there. Nowadays it is a 27 lakhs robots in 2019. So it is continuously growing. People are using the robots. Here in Asia, Europe and America, you can see how they have increased the use of the robots. So in Asia and Australia, it is near about 16 lakhs robots are used nowadays. Compared to it is more compared to the Australia and Europe. And if we'll see that where it is using, so mostly robots are used in the automobile industry. So this segment is using more robots to build the vehicles, right? So to build the vehicle in very fast manner, to assemble the vehicles and parts, automobile industry is using more robots. The next one is in electrical and electronics industry, where the robots are used. Metal machinery is also the third segment where the robots are used. These are the data for the 2019, 18 and 17 and it indicates it is continuously growing. The operational stock of industrial robots by the application you can say handling, for material handling it is using the most. Thereafter for the welding purpose it is half of that one, and for assembly it is 28,000, right? 2,87,000 robots are used. So here the various segments are shown that for which robots are used in the last 3 years. If we'll see about the current annual installment of the robots, it is continuously growing. In 2018, that is a 4,22,000 robots are installed. In 2019, its data is half, that's why it is showing the 3,73,000. Now let's see where these robots are installed worldwide. So you'll find that China is most growing market and it is installing this much robots, 1,40,000 robots in China yearly. And next one is Japan, that is 49,000. And here the India is standing that the 4,000 robots are installed annually in the 2019. These are the data of the 2019. So after the COVID, the situation may be changed and people are more moving towards the automation and robots, right? These all things are about the industrial robots. And robot industry, manufacturing industry, if you see Singapore and the Republic of Korea are making lot of robots, right, compared to the other part of the world, right? So these are the robot manufacturing industries, so it owned by the Singapore and the Korea. COVID-19 and digitization booster is there, so electronics industry seems to be bigger.
You are mute again.
You are muted, sir.
How it is happening, I don't know that something is happening. So please remind me that whenever I will mute or some expert will mute. So you have to work on these things that after this session. Now in the service robot also it is showing the it is having a lot of units sell in 2020. You can see 48 million cells of service robot. There is also some grow in the entertainment robots. So very similar entertainment robots are used in this one. Logistic robots that are used for the service robot sector, that is also growing, continuously growing. For the public environment also it is growing. Defense application also it is growing. The data shows that a lot of robots are used for the logistic purpose, for material handling. Here it is showing for the various field like inspection, maintenance, field robots and power human exoskeleton robots are used in from 20 to 23. Future cast also shown here. Medical robots, nowadays people are using that one more. Technology and application test in the service robots are they are using more AGVs, AMRs. Major technology accelerator is the 5G technology. So remotely you can control the robots used for surgical robots, and due to the data transfer rate, fast data transfer rate, it can be used for the cyber robot also. So nowadays people are using technology in the field of cyber field also. So so this is about how the robots are used in the service sector. Right? Now we'll see some applications where nowadays robots are used very fast manner. This is a water can robot too. So here decontamination robot is shown that is used for the nuclear power plant. So this is a decontamination robot that is decontaminate the parts of which are used in the nuclear power plant. That this job cannot be done by the human beings. Repetitive jobs which are very boring, stressful, laborious, that can also make a human being to dumb. So that can be done with the help of these robots. So here it is showing how the robots are welding. So this is welding robot. Some jobs that is a manual task that human don't want to do, that is a dirty task. Scrub mat robot is used to clean your toilets. Distant tasks, space or underwater robots are used for performing that task that is very difficult to perform by the human beings. Some humanoid robots, Dexters, that can look like a similar to human beings. Sometimes in the construction field, robots are used to do some very fast constructions. You can see the concrete spraying robots are there. That arm which is doing the spraying of the concrete. NASA space station, where these robotic arms are fitted that are do the maintenance of the space shuttles. Antarctica operating underwater robot is shown here. Hasbot operating robot is shown here. Robotic assistant microsurgery. So robotic hands are used to do the surgery, microsurgery. Here you can see this human being is there, patient is there. The doctor is standing near to that one computer. He is giving the signaling to this robot, which is doing the operation. So this is done by the Dr. William Franke, watching a video monitor, right? And this operation was carried out in 2001. So open heart surgery is done by the robot. Here you can see. In 1999, the California company has made the surgical robots. Wearable robotic arm and teleoperated robots. So some human being doesn't have the sense in their arm, then they are using the robotic arm, wearable robotic arm to perform the task. Police robot that is used to sense, find out the bombs or disposal of the bombs. So that is made in 2001. A bomb disposal arm. Here you can see the bomb disposal robots. Nomad robots that is used in the Antarctica plain, that is very coldest area. So the Cargill Mellon University has developed this type of robots to work in the Antarctica. This is showing the underwater robots, biomimic autonomous underwater robots that can work in the water. People also use for the robot lawn mowers that cut the grass in your ground. And very tiny robot here, the Sandia Robotics Laboratory, that is very international laboratory. They have developed in 1986 very small tiny robots. You can see in these scientists and the small tiny robots. Welding robots that used to weld the parts. Material handling robots that can pick and place the parts here shown. KUKA Robotics, why I am showing the KUKA is a leading robotic manufacturer. So they are manufacturing the industrial robots that are normally used. It is having the 6-axis capability. Robots that are used for cleaning the surfaces. Some building walls robots are there. The fuel sensor robots that are used to fill the gases and petrol in the car. Sometimes the people also work on the robo cow, something like a cow buys a horse. Right. So robo cow robot is there. This is a robot. It is look like a kangaroo that is made in the Rubru 1994. This robot is used to check what will happen the kangaroo is suddenly striking to the automobile vehicle or car. So to test that one, they have used this robotic kangaroo as a dummy to check the collision effect on the vehicles. Sony has shown also entertainment robots, so that will entertain you, right? Ebo is the dog, which is very popular in the childs. Some research are done in the mobile robots. In the NASA also research this about the robots are shown. Sometimes this robotic arm that itself do the maintenance, and sometimes it also having the capability that it can allow the manual interpretation also. So in this one space shuttle. These all are the space robots, various space robot. It is a micro machines, miniature robot is shown here that can be having a size 0.24
Muted again.
Sir, you're muted again, sir.
Sorry that I don't know about how it become the muting. So this shows the different applications about the robot. Now you are able to listen my voice.
Yes,
I
yes.
think
Now you're audible.
there is some problem in the Microsoft team that it make a mute speaker. So whenever you find this difficulty, please speak in the mic. So that will be help the expert that he is muted. So in upcoming session also, please take it. Okay. So this is from the my side. That is about the brief introduction about the robotics and robots. And in next session, we'll discuss about the robotic structure by the expert Dr. Potolia sir. So that will start at 1 o'clock sharply. So I hope you, all of you, will complete your lunch and join the next session at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much to listen me carefully. And if you found any difficulty, please convey this difficulty in the WhatsApp group, right? So where our co-coordinator Milap sir and Hiren sir and Samruddhi madam will resolve your queries, right? And you will get a feedback form at the end of this day, right? That will having a common feedback, right? So thank you very much to all of you to listen me carefully, and we will not give any type of the attendance link. We'll directly take this from the MS team. So we are telling that please log in using your username. So we can directly take that attendance, right? Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And I will share the presentation uh, whenever we will get from the experts. So be passionate for the presentation also. Okay. And now we'll hope you will meet on the same link at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Good up. Am I audible, HP Patodia, sir? Good afternoon, sir. Yes, ma'am. Hello. Am I audible, sir? Good afternoon, sir.